instead of just cutting it off like an ex-girlfriend. Just cut it clean, rip the Band-Aid off.
Welcome to the Measure Success podcast, where we talk with top leaders about effective strategies that inspire success. First of all, I just want to thank you, the audience, for help making us the fourth best strategic planning podcast out there. If it was not for you, we would not have been voted that. So thank you so much for everything you do to help lift us up and continue to help bring us great guests like we have today, Steve Griggs. He's the founder and principal designer of Steve Griggs Design. This is one of New York City's premier luxury design build firms. With over 30 years experience, Steve is known for transforming ordinary properties into extraordinary outdoor living spaces. He also started mowing lawns. I love this at 16 years old. And then he went on to earn advanced degrees in landscape design and horticulture. And he's really built an incredible company and organization. He's now in dozens of publications and has a great book called Straight Dirt, which we'll talk about today. Steve, welcome to the Measure Success podcast.
Good to be here, Carl. All the way from the West Coast to the East Coast.
That's right. And I was just saying, I've got a daughter right nearby you at the moment right now as we have this coming together. And we have family actually who live in the city, in New York City. And so and I'm from Boston originally. So I always have this kindred passion. And of course, Yankees, Red Sox, that, but anyways, we
Okay,
won't
you
talk
know the
about that
deal. Yeah,
today.
yeah, yeah.
We don't have any, we have enemy stuff there going on or at the beginning of this broadcast. But as we had a prep talk a little bit here, and I'm always curious of like the crazy stories, right? Because a lot of our stuff is day to day, goes on, we do our work, get it done. Tell me about one of these amazing stories and impact where you helped put something together that changed people's lives.
So, when you're in construction in New York City, it's very aggressive. People are very impatient. I could sit here and tell you 40 years of war stories, but there's one in particular story that sticks out that actually got me choked up. We built a very difficult project on top of a mountain. Three other pool companies said it couldn't be done, so they were giving up on their dream. I was crazy enough to say I can get it done on time and on budget, which we did. And the owner could not swim. He's from Brooklyn. He could not swim. Didn't know how to swim. 7 kids, they all swim, and he's sitting on the sidelines, couldn't swim. So by the end of the summer, he was able to swim. I didn't know with that, but they invited me over, and he jumped in the pool, and he did. He swam there and back, and I'll never forget. She told me that was the best $450,000 she ever spent. Usually, it's so that one it just rings through, and that's what I do, why I do what I do, right?
You are in truly one of the most, I love New Yorkers, but if there's anything they don't have is patience, right?
Absolutely.
You know, And so tell me about that. Like, how do you deal with whether you call it 8 million or 15 million or 23 million, depending on how you count it? How do you help work with people who are expecting the best and quick and on time budgets, and
And
even
cheap
though when they know they're
and
not going to
cheap
get it most of the time,
and cheap. They all
and
they
cheap, of course,
I mean,
right?
I find that the more money they have, the more I don't know, it's a different mindset. Like it really is. It's like they pay for value. Like they understand the value and they understand that by hiring a professional, they don't have to babysit the contract and they're free to do other things. It's just crazy how they're all successful people. They all and they all value their time. I notice they value
Mhm.
their time. And they're all hard working people. Like you would be like you think people just sit on the beach who have a lot of money. These are the hardest working people I know. Seriously. They just go.
Well, I appreciate you saying that because I think it's one of the most misunderstood parts of successful people is there's this belief that they're just sitting back and on a resort and just enjoying their things. But no, there's a reason they got there, right? They have
Yes.
a DNA, they have a ticker that is expecting to be great, to expecting to achieve a lot, to expecting to make a difference. And then they expect that in their contractors and the people they work with and their accountants, their doctors, right? They expect, right, to be first class. And of course, New York, right, is the standard. Despite all the challenges New York has had over the years, it's still nothing's like New York City, right? It's a special, special city. So tell me about a little bit further in that process. Like, how do you manage expectations, these high expectations that you're dealing with in the city?
Don't BS them. Like do
Mhm.
not. try to they're sharp people, man. They are
Mhm.
sharp. Like they smell a salesman a mile away. And they're used to some of the like the higher type, like the celebrity types and all. They're used to having a lot of people around them that just yes them to death.
Mm.
Right. So for me, I'm the opposite. Like if I think it's a terrible idea, I pull no punches and I tell them. And I think that's a breath of fresh air to somebody who's always has people just yesing them to death all the time, right?
So we briefly, sorry, very, very briefly, and we're I gotta pull this in right now when I typically don't, which is you yourself being a CEO and the people you're dealing with are typically successful leaders, right? In whatever they're
Yes.
doing. And we're not told the truth, right? Because people want to make us happy because they're afraid of losing their job. They're afraid of losing their ability to pay their rent or their mortgage or whatever it might be. And then there's other reasons that they don't. They just they believe they're making us happy. But what's interesting is we're actually wanting the truth. So I'm curious for you in your business. You obviously do it with your clients. How do you try to cultivate that transparency with your team?
Wow. So first with the clients is sometimes they're afraid to say something, to change something. Oh, I didn't want to upset the apple cart and say it, but I always tell them be upfront and honest. It's easier to change it before we actually do it than after it's done have to undo it. So
Hmm.
please speak your mind. If you don't like something, just tell us. Same with the workers, man. Like, don't, if you break a sprinkler line, tell me. If you tell me, man. But they don't, they kind of like don't want to like upset the boss, right? Like, he's going to freak out. Probably. I'm gonna freak out anyway. Like it's just, I don't know. Like sometimes it's like guys got to think. Like sometimes they don't think. Right? You're dealing with hardworking people, and the language barrier could be sometimes rough. You gotta have to navigate all that, but you have to keep their respect because if they don't respect you, it's over. Over.
That's right. Right. So let's go to that. So respect, right? And respect, I tell you what, especially in cities like New York, it means it means everything everywhere. But I mean, it really means something in the city. So how do you maintain respect with these hardcore blue collar, right, people
Yeah.
who are doing the
I
work?
am one. I'm one.
Yeah,
Like
that's
I'm
right.
one of the guys. Like I'm not
Right.
afraid to jump on a machine and do it because I've done it for so long. Like you're not going to be able to BS me because I've just done it all. Like I've gotten dirty. I'm not a guy that just sits in the office and I'm on the jobs all the time. I watch everything. I don't. Yeah, I kind of micromanage because you got to micromanage, right? You kind of oversee certain things in the details. You can't miss out the details, right?
Mm.
And the respect is always show up with a box of Dunkin' Donuts coffee, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't treat them like, oh, you're better than them. Come with the
Mm.
coffee in the morning. That goes a long way. Seriously,
Isn't it fascinating how the little things can make such a difference?
huge difference.
'Cause it's such a small gesture, but it's like, wow, they appreciated me, right? You know? And it's like, what, that cost you, I don't know, 20 bucks, 30
50
bucks,
bucks.
whatever,
Well, we have 10
50
guys. You
bucks?
got to get a
Okay,
box of Joe and a dozen muffins or something. It's 50
okay.
bucks.
So 50 bucks. But once again, an incredible investment, right? That of the $50, right? On sometimes jobs and projects you're working on that are 10, 100, half million dollar. You said these different type of jobs that you're working on, right?
Sure.
That are really significant. What has surprised you when working with an employee where they opened up to you because of the way you have treated them?
I had one the other day saying, oh, you teach me so much. Couldn't do this without you. Like I've been just doing this for so long. Like whether you like it or not, you're gonna learn from that. You're gonna learn something. You're gonna learn how to be impatient. You're gonna learn how to get things done. You're not gonna take excuses or for nobodies. Like that's the way I was brought up. Like old. I'm 65, right? So came from the old school. Like there's no excuses. My dad was a construction worker in New York City, worked for the union. There's no snow days, rain days. I remember he would go to work sick as a dog, man. Like, cause he had 5 kids at home. But now these guys get a sniffle and they stay home. So it's a different time, man.
So it's kind of interesting. I mean, I love it how you were brought up in it and you were raised in terms of that being tough. Are you able to carry that forward where your staff develops that grit?
Oh yeah, yeah. They know. by Friday, this has to be done, right? They just know that's the way it's gonna roll, right? So I don't know, it's just second nature. Like we just get it, just get the job done. Like you have to get it done. And we used to do jobs where, I contract everything out. So we'll design and we oversee. We have, I don't know, 20 companies that do different jobs, different tasks, masons all. And we finding that guys, you're spreading yourself so thin. These guys try to do like 3 jobs at once. I said, let's focus on one at a
Mm.
time. You'll live with less mistakes. You'll be more efficient. You'll make more money, man. We'll all make more money. My phone won't ring. Your phone won't ring. So I'm trying to help them just through experience that, let's all work together. Like we can be more profitable.
How did you learn that? How did you learn by working on one thing at a time versus 3 things at a time, it works better?
Try losing hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Like, what else? Like, how else?
Well, so I'm not gonna say the name of it because I only say it in private settings, this company that I was working with, but I'm gonna share you a story, Steven, and I'm really curious what your answer is in this.
Sure.
Um, we were implementing for a Fortune 500 company, which is nearby where you are. We were implementing a strategic planning software system. And in the meeting, this executive team was really happy. And this was good because I literally left a job because of the success of this one Fortune 500 company. And just to clarify, this is like more like a Fortune 50 client. Okay. So really, really big client,
Big client,
big
big
client.
P, a lot of people.
Yep. And so we go in and I'm like, okay, um, how's this working? Executive is really happy. And then in the back in the corner room, there's this one gentleman. He's like from England. And he goes, I'm not happy. And I go, well, why? And he's like, well, because all of my projects aren't in there. I said, well, how many projects do you manage? And he says, I manage 600 projects.
Ooh.
Okay. So to this day, I've never met anybody who's been responsible for 600 projects at once.
How
So
do you do six?
I asked him this question, Steve. I said, so how many project managers do you have? Now I'm really curious from you. How many project managers do you think he had to manage 600 projects?
Depending on what the project is. Like, what do they do?
Well, we'll call it supply chain management. How about that? Supply chain management.
Ah,
So,
my son is majoring in that at Penn State. Yeah.
okay.
Okay, good.
So what would you think? So in supply chain management, how many project managers do you think?
So he has to like logistically bring stuff from China or wherever they're bringing it, right? They're
Right,
bringing
right, yeah.
stuff.
Right.
600 projects.
600 projects. Yep.
I think one project manager can handle 20 clients, 20
Okay.
projects.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair enough. And we hear that. That's a very common answer we hear, just to let you know. This company is one of the best in the world. You know exactly who they are if I said their name. Okay. They have been around for over 100 years and they are the leader in their industry. They have 600 project managers.
One per.
One-to-one
That's
relationship.
right.
What did they learn? They learned that when you do, just like what you said earlier, Steve, when you do one thing at a time, you don't just get 600 projects done a year. You get 1,200, 1,800 projects done a year because that person is solely focused on making sure that one thing they're working on gets done. It's really fascinating that you came up with this, right? And here, once again, this biggest company, one of the biggest companies in the world, is right in your
Yeah, I don't have
backyard.
I don't have, 600, but it's the same theory, right? Like it's the same thing. I have 25 Spanish guys and working, and it's the same thing.
Right.
Just
Yeah.
multiplied times, yeah.
Right. Right.
Same theory, same theory.
Same theory, but the theory is once again, you focus on one thing at a time, you're going to get done way more effectively than having 100 people. And so I love it that you through the school of hard knocks, you figured that out, right? That when you have your team and people like focus on one thing, you actually get high quality work and you get it done on time.
Faster, much faster.
Yeah, and way faster. Exactly. All right, so let's go to the aspect of once again, you have different team, varying people. I'm just curious for you because this has not been an easy time to find people to work, especially in your industry.
Eh,
Has it? Has it not? I'm kind of curious.
I mean, that's just, yeah, it is easy
You think it
because
did? Why? Why is it easy for you
good
as opposed to
people,
isn't for other people?
good people want to work with good people, right?
Mm,
They want to work for good people. They know, they all talk. They know who's the good guys and who's the bad guys. I'm a good guy. They all want to work for me because I'm a good guy. I get good jobs. I pay them well. We bring in great jobs, good for my portfolio and good for your portfolio. And we try to get the jobs done on time and faster so everybody wins, right? Everybody's more efficient. Everybody makes more money. That's really the goal. Keep the client happy, obviously.
when do you have to let people go?
Ooh, that first couple times was rough, man. Really, it was rough. Like meaning that should have did it 6 months before. Like
Mhm.
had them hang around, and just was miserable, like miserable. It was terrible feeling. And then the more you do it, the easier, the easier it gets. But um, anyway, oh, you feel like, oh, I spent all this money training them. Maybe they'll, you're saying it's all in your head. Like, maybe they'll change. Maybe something will do is I spent all this money and time training them. So you're trying to like chase, you're throwing good money after bad, right? Instead of just cutting it off like an ex girlfriend, just cut it clean, rip the band aid off. You know what I'm
I've
saying?
never heard I've done over 200 podcasts, and I've never heard that answer. That was
I'm
awesome.
sorry, but
So,
it's
no, that's
true.
okay. That was really funny. But what one of the things that you said was which was super interesting. Let me ask you this. When you came in the idea of your head that you should fire them, have you ever turned around and said, "I shouldn't have fired them"? Like, meaning, have you never regretted firing anybody that came to your
No,
head to fire?
no, I wouldn't have fired him.
No, it's anyways, it's so fascinating to me because I but what you just described, Steve, is a super common thing for entrepreneurs and CEOs, right? They're like, they have that in their head of like, I should be getting rid of them, and they will not for
I'm
100
sure it's
reasons
very common for you. I'm sure you see it all the time.
all the time. And so we see it all the time. And then of course, just like what you said, when they do it, it's like, and the funny part is not only they relieved, the employee is relieved. Not always, but most of the time because they know they aren't performing.
They know, they
Yeah.
know, everybody
Yeah.
knows, they
Yeah.
know. Like,
Yeah.
when somebody's not doing something, it's not, maybe it's not a good fit. It's not a good fit, uh, for whatever reason, right? That's the way it goes.
E e exactly. So, okay, so let's get to your book a little bit. So what inspired you writing a book's not an easy, process. So what inspired you to write it?
So the book is a hardcovered coffee table book, right? So with beautiful pictures in it. I'll send you the link. It's got all kinds of projects we've done in there over 30 years. And we designed the book to be more like a coffee table book. So 'cause sometimes you get books from people and they just fill a text and nobody reads them. But nobody reads books anymore, really. Like, I mean, they read them, but they kind of flip through them. But this was more like photos and beautiful landscapes and beautiful homes. And throughout the book, there's anecdotes of stories that we've had of projects on, right? Tips and tricks of what to do when you're creating a backyard. So the book was an inspiration by one of my mentors who said, "Listen, you got to write a book. You got to get published." Dr. Oz, he said, "You got to get published, man." He goes, "I said, how do you do it, man?" He goes, "You got to get published." So that started the book. That started the book, right? So because it comes down to like if it's me against another guy and the price is the same and you're both the same, are you gonna go with the guy who has the book or not? Like the analogy was like if you needed knee surgery, torn your ACL, you want to go to the guy who just got out of med school, or you want a guy that's done hundreds of these. I've done thousands of jobs like this. So I have the edge. I do. I just done it so many times. I've done it wrong so many times. So I just have the edge. The education's nice to have, but you don't really learn it until you're in the field.
One of the things when I wrote my book, somebody shared with me, like, in the process, like, "Hey, it's the best business card in the world,"
Oh yeah,
right? And and
absolutely.
and I love it how yours is, like, more, "Oh, this is intended to be on a coffee table," like, literally, so you're looking at these so when you are having prospects, is this something you give out to a prospect when it's like, "Hey, take a look," or, "No, they've already read it," or I'm kinda curious, like, what you do with that, just out of curiosity.
What do you do with the book?
No, 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 meaning you have a prospect, you're working on a significant project. Is this like, "Hey, take a look, this is our book, and here's some
No, much
examples?"
higher, much higher.
Okay.
You have to become the guy. Like, not to sound conceited, but you have to become the guy. Hey, if you're lucky enough, you may be in the next edition. And if you're really nice to me, I may give you a signed copy. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta
Yeah.
like make them like, because you
Yeah.
hear it. I hear it from, hey, is this gonna make your next book kind of thing? Is this project your best project ever? People have that, people People love to be in front of the cameras, like they love to be. Everybody does. It's just human nature, right?
So you dropped that Dr. Osborne earlier. Did he actually tell you that directly, or was that through an indirect thing where you talked about getting that? So explain that part.
No, he's sitting at his table. I'll never forget. He drinks the green juice, the green vegetable juice. We did it, yeah. And he's like, "You got to get," because I asked him straight up, "How do I get to that next level?" He's like, "You got to get published. You got to get known," and it just all makes sense. And then Grant, people like him. Hey, and Grant Cardone was another one that kind of, he's in the book too. He said the same thing. Like, you got to get known. Like, it's not the best that you're doing, it's the best known. And it makes sense. Like, everybody wants to be hire the celebrity designer. So you got to become the celebrity designer, whatever it takes. And that's why I like podcasts. And I do stuff like this with, it's hard for me, right? Because I'm old school, right? Instagram and all that other stuff is all, but you gotta go with change with the times. You have to.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all right. So let's, here we are talking about change of times. I'm just curious. Times are changing. They are accelerating right now.
Yeah,
Right. I mean,
cool.
good for you once again on creating content. You have a book, you are out there, you're making sure that your brand and who you are is still being seen, right? In a very, very competitive world right now. So I'm curious. I have no idea. What are you doing from, do you care at all about AI? Are you using it within your company? I'm just kind of
Yeah, I
curious.
use it. We use it. I use it. Chat GPT. I'm sure there's. I'm not even using it nearly the way I should be. I'm sure, but at least I'm trying it. I'm learning about it. I'm not even near. I'm a neophyte coming to it. What people are doing, but it is what it is, right? Will I still be around when the robots are doing handcrafted stonework? Because you can't. It's an art form, right? Like, it's an art form. We're not there. They can do sheetrock and paint and all, but to chisel a stone and build a stone wall, that takes a craftsman. So I'm not really worried about the robots coming just yet. But eh, you know, so people better get with the times. Be humans better be on top of their game. Um, so keep learning, right?
That's right. Yeah, I appreciate you saying what you said. First of all, I love the neophyte. I love that term, and I view it the same way. I mean, it's like we use a lot, but I know how little we know. And because it's so significant. So it's over 40,000 apps out there right now in terms of AI
Forty
tools.
thousand for AI
Yeah,
apps,
yeah, that's just the beginning, right, of what's
just like
happening.
in the last year, probably, because I think it just, yeah, it's crazy.
Right, so we literally can't keep up, but what was really interesting, I just literally last week and the weekend before, I was coming off our conference that we had in Phoenix. Right after that, in that same week, I should say, there was the landscaping conference in Phoenix, right? One of the significant ones. And what was really interesting is there was a guy I met, very successful, actually, a guy I knew from like our area. He has 3 different offices in the Northwest. And he said, Carl, I can now buy a mower for 60 grand that I could have one guy drive it the first time and program,
Yeah,
right?
the
So,
robotic mowers. Yeah,
and he could amortize that over 5 years, right? And pretty soon he's going to have, and it could drive itself up the ramp on the truck.
but it
That's,
can't. It can't drive the truck though, and he still needs a
can't
guy,
drive the
right?
truck yet. Can't drive the truck yet. But meaning he wasn't getting rid of people, but he was having them do, well, he is. He's gonna have lighter teams in the future. And but the teams who are gonna be involved are gonna be more higher end, this meaning, more
More
management.
technical. Yeah,
Yes,
more
more technical.
technical.
Yes, exactly, more
Yeah,
technical,
so
right?
we're just shifting from the doing to the managing of the technology of it,
That's right.
which is kind of
Yeah.
cool, and everybody can get paid more.
No, it's a good thing, right? But the thing you said that's so important is if us humans, right? Us people who are working, whether it's, blue collar or white collar or anything between, if you aren't embracing this AI, right? If you aren't embracing the technology, you're not, I loved how you gotta stay kind of in the back of the wave and, like, hang on, like, surfing on it, but if you don't, you're gonna get swallowed in that tsunami, right? Of moving forward. Um, so I'm curious, kinda taking, you talk about you're using it a little bit. What major changes do you see in your competitive landscape, if you may,
I
whether it
mean,
be AI.
you
Right.
see AI a lot in the designs. You
Mhm.
see AI, and they have a lot of designs. Some of it's good, some of it's not. But the key is, if it makes a pretty picture, you still have to execute it. Nobody wants to hang a pretty picture of their backyard on their wall. You got to build it. Like, great, this looks great. You have all your AI. We do use 3D renderings. That helps the clients visualize, absolutely. But you still have to have the vision and give it the input, right? So that's how we handle that. We use, it's not really AI, I guess, but it is 3D renderings and the visualization, all that, because it helps clients visualize their background and help sell the job, right? But I still have to come up with a concept.
What you said and should not be, I'm going to just repeat again, the importance of execution
Mm,
on the idea, in my opinion, is how success will be for those in the future. Right. Right. The ideas are cheap. Like ideas are cheap. Information's cheap. Like anybody can now pull something up. We do taxes with one or 40 accounting firm. Anybody can figure out with somebody with 30 years of expertise can get the data. Now I'll say this, so Steve, they typically don't understand it, right? But they're like, "Hey, can I get this like tax savings?" Like, yeah, but you know what you're talking about, and you try to be nice about it in a very thoughtful way. But information is cheap, and execution is priceless, right? It's like, can you actually get this idea or this visual in and actually execute it so it will look pretty, or you'll save me money on my taxes, or whatever it might be, right?
sure.
It's amazing how much execution is crap, right? And I'm sure for you guys, like you have this book, this beautiful book, and you show all the pictures is happening, but you've also been a part of it when it doesn't come out, right?
There's always problems. It's never just snap your fingers and it looks like that. There's always challenges and weather and materials, and oh my gosh, it just doesn't end till you get to that final thing. But you have to be able to, like a plane, right? You're on course. You get off course. You got to get back on course because the target is get that job done on time, on budget, make the client happy. That's the target. So never take your eye off the target.
Okay, so I'll ask some of my traditional questions. So how do you measure success in your business today?
Get more stories like the guy said he couldn't swim
Mm,
and swims, and that's the best 450,000 you ever spent. Boom. I mean, that's I, I I think for success for me was like being able to be with my kids, never missed a soccer game, never missed a basketball game. Like, just, I'm telling you, if you're new out there and you got little kids, don't miss it because you blink, it's over. You get the kids, it's over. Like, you probably missed those times when you would go to like the recreation soccer and the travel soccer in your community. She would just crush everybody, and it's fun, right? Parents screaming on the sidelines like maniacs. Like, I was that guy. I wouldn't watch the game with my wife. I'd have to go down because I'm focused on the game, and I'm like, and I couldn't be there one or two times. I said, "So how was the game?" "Oh, it was good. They lost." I go, "No," meaning how did he do? Meaning, what I'm saying? I only, how did he do?
that's really funny because my wife and I often are not sitting next to each other at the game because we have different intensity levels, which is funny. And then there was our youngest. Um, my wife coached her for in the really early years, and she would have to tell her after you score like 5 or 6 goals, like, okay, now you have to start passing.
Yeah, start backing it off a little bit. So she would just like dominate the whole team, right? She would
Oh
lead,
yeah, yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
so she's the one that's going. Okay, we got a ringer here.
it's so
Of
awesome.
course, she plays Division 1, and she's playing with a bunch of rec kids at 8 years old. I mean, it's
Yeah.
obvious that you know if I was a coach, and she came on the team, I was like, all right, we got to go. But then you have to like everybody's got to play, so you got to substitute her out, and it's like you have to kind of
Oh yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's super fascinating.
It's the fun times, or the best times of the life for the kids. So if you're new in business or whatever, don't miss that. Oh, I got to go to the office and all. Just work on Sunday. Figure it out. Like, don't figure it out. Make your time.
I I I couldn't agree more, Steve, with what you said. And it's funny. I did not grow up with my dad. He was a merchant marines, and my mom and dad got divorced a long
So was
time
my father. My
before.
father was a merchant marine. Yeah,
Yeah,
my father was in the merchant
yeah,
marines. Yeah.
yeah. And so they back in those days, right? They were gone. 3, 4, 6 months of the year. At least my dad was. And And so he was not present. He was not the one who's telling me, "I'm proud of you," after game, 'cause he wasn't there.
Yeah.
But boy, I'm so grateful that I got to I even this year, we have gone to multiple events, seeing our kids playing sports or being present, seeing that at different events, or and now 2 of our kids are coaching high school sports, and we're attending
Oh,
those
cool.
now, right? And being present and having a purpose, and then also supporting, right, your family. I agree with you. We've done everything we can. Obviously with 4 kids, we can't make it to every event, right?
Yeah.
Especially when it's around the country,
You
but
got 4 kids. Oh, yeah, they're all spread
yeah.
out. You can't make everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but we've tried our best to be as present as we reasonably can, and, but I think that's great advice what you said. It's just some of the things I'm so grateful for, that we made the choice like you did to be as present as we can, and I agree, that's a big part of how I've measured success, for myself as well. So, okay, so I'll ask the secondary question, 'cause you're crushing it. You've done a great job. You created an amazing business. Super proud of you, of what you've been able to do and be present with your family and create this business, and take these risks that these very brilliant people have told you, and you've executed on them, right? You've taken that step to go to the next level. Here you are on a
Yeah.
podcast, right? Of doing, and like you go on multiple, you've done these incredible things. What habits have you figured out that you need to do for yourself so you can bring your A game as consistently as possible?
Sleep, obviously. I like
Mhm.
going to bed early, and I love getting up early,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Eat well. Got a great wife, 29 years. Make sure I'm fed well. Got to keep the thoroughbred horse in top shape, right? So yeah, I think one of the biggest tips I can say is that I'll email clients at like 5 in the morning, and that advantage has proved to be very successful because what happens is when they wake up and they see an email from me at 5 o'clock in the morning, like, holy crap, this guy's thinking of me and my project at 5. So you make them the most important person. They don't want to hear you can't come to their job because you're on 3 other jobs. Like we talked before we even started this, nobody cares about your problems or any other job. And I'll tell my guys that, and I'll tell my subcontractors that I don't care any other job you got. I can give a crap. You got it. This is my job, my client. This is the most important thing in the world.
That's awesome. Okay. So we hit that. You talked about measuring success. You hit it both in business and personal, which I really appreciated when you mentioned that. So from the next part, and maybe, once again, obviously not your own book here, but been a book for you that has been something you either recommend regularly or has just been really profound, that it's really inspired you?
I would have to say, just off the top of my head, is Grant Cardone's 10X book, right? I
Mm,
don't know if you're familiar
mhm.
with it,
Yep.
but
Very
it,
familiar
it,
with
it
that.
taught me that. Um, so I was on Grant's show. Good guy, by the way. Like he's just like, listen. I think with mentors and people, you take bits and pieces from everybody. Love them, hate them, Trump, Biden, whatever. I don't care. Work ethic, crazy off the charts. Same with the president. Work ethic's like crazy. Like so, you take bits and pieces of people, and he in that book it was like everything's going to take 10 times as more effort than you think. That's all I got out of the book. That's it. Holy crap, you're right. So if you think it's going to take you 2 weeks, you better figure it's going to take five. Like things take longer. If you ever had done construction around your house, guy tells you going to be done in 2 weeks. You know he's there for 8 weeks.
Mhm.
Like it just takes longer. So try and concentrate the effort, and it goes back, and then it goes back to one job at a time. Focus on that job because if you think it's going to take 2 weeks, it's probably going to take five. So you want to get it to the 2 weeks as close as possible by concentrating everybody's efforts and working together. It's just better when you have a lot of guys working and they feed the energy feeds. I find the energy feeds off of everybody. If everybody's working hard, the music's going, and the energy is just higher than three guys uh, laying a stone at every 3 hours.
That's so well. I love that, and that's fantastic in terms of, once again, and that's, by the way, 10X is one of my favorite books too, actually, and it's just so simple, the concept around it, but you have to bring it, I mean, consistently, and that's one of the things he does teach, and I think you go back to what you said earlier, right, is that successful people are high achievers, right? They're
Very.
they're up early, they're getting stuff done, and they have high expectations, and we should embrace this. You know, I always, it's so fascinating, right? The people are like, it's okay, we'll do it manana, right? All that stuff, and it's like, no, 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 let's get it done now. Like I loved it. Your expression was like, no, let's get it done.
So I learned that from in 2008 when the economy tanked, right?
Right.
Whatever. I was working and I worked for one of my clients in New York City for short term, and he ran one of the largest construction companies in New York City. If I mention a name like you, you'd know the name. That son of a bitch, man. Let me tell you something. 5 in the morning, he's on the like he is just on it. You need something like people that are very busy and on top of their game. If you ask them a question, you'll get a text back in 30 seconds. I find that they're very on top of everything. They're not like dragging feet. They are on their game. And I try to carry that to my jobs too. Like just be on it, right? Just attack.
Yeah, you nailed it. Steve, thank you so much. This has been incredible having you on the podcast today. How can people connect and learn more about what you're doing?
Everybody seems to be the Instagram now, the IG as they call it. I'm at Steve Griggs Design or the website stevegrigsdesign.com. I try to do is, got to produce content, try to get in there as much as possible. Again, that's another full-time job. Like that's a job. That's a job. You putting on this podcast is a job.
Mhm.
Like you got to be here, you have to edit it, you have to produce it. So, but it's consistency, right? So it's doing that consistency, and it's doing it's doing stuff that you don't want to do either, right? Like I don't want to be on camera and on the job site, but it's part of it, right? It's work.
Yeah, well, it's once again what you've learned and what we communicate to those we work with is this is where people's eyeballs are now, right?
Oh
And and
yeah.
and you have to create content where people's eyeballs are. And if you're not creating that as a business owner, you're not going to be seen. And so whether you like it or not hate it, it doesn't matter, right? You have to do it. And you're doing that. Once again, you're a testament to getting things done. Whether you want to be on it or not, you're on it. Love
Yeah,
that.
I mean, it's whatever time it is in New York. It's 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
It's pitch black here. Like
It's a
it's
winner. I love
it's
that.
freaking winter time, man. Like you're from Boston. You know it's coming. You know it's coming. I can't. Ah, it's it's coming.
Yeah.
Cold, dark. So you try to use that downtime to kind of plan and strategize
Mhm.
for next season because if you want to hit the ground running in the spring, so you want to take this time to ramp up your content, develop new strategies and get going because it's a long dark winter here in the Big Apple.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Steve, once again, thank you so much.
Yeah,
Hang
it's
on for
been
a minute.
fun, Mag.
We got a gift we're going to give you here at the end. So hang tight. But thank you so much for being a guest on Measure podcast today.
Good luck with the soccer.
Thank you. Thank you. And to everyone else who's listening, we are once again just super grateful for your kindness and generosity of listening to our show. We always appreciate when you share, provide us back comments. That's why we continue to get great guests like Steve Griggs. And we are now rejecting way more people than we actually get on the show because of how popular the show has become over the years. And so thank you very much for everything that you've done. As we always like to say, wishing you the very best and measuring your success. Have a great day.